Hi, and welcome to episode 60 of the Beks Creates podcast. I am coming to you from, as you can probably tell, a very dark, dingy Bristol. It's very grey out there today. We're expecting a lot of rain this afternoon. Where I live with my husband Paul and our 2-year-old son Jasper. It's been a while. I did that really annoying thing that podcasters do where I said, oh, I've got a new light and a new microphone and I can podcast whenever I like now. But it didn't happen because of Christmas. I had a date set and I was going to do it. And then on the day, I was just so exhausted because everything was just so busy. See, the run up to Christmas is busy anyway. And then having a toddler and being a school teacher, even though I'm very part-time, I ended up in school quite a bit extra with nativity plays and Christmas parties and things like that. So it was just, general chaos, but very lovely. Yes, so I am back now anyway, and I've got loads to show you today. I hope you all enjoyed the festive period. We had a really lovely time. I had very low expectations, I think, of this Christmas. Sorry, there's a very noisy plane going over. I hope you can't hear it. Because it could have been a sad one for us, but actually it was perfect. We had a quieter one. We didn't plan so many events and days out. We had lots of downtime, which was just lovely. All three of us really needed some time at home just to chill. Jasper played with his new toys and really loved just having daddy home a bit more and just spending time together. And we had lovely times with family too. Have to say that Mum, Claire, and I nailed Christmas dinner this year. We prepped almost everything in advance. I did the roast potatoes at the beginning of December. I did the Yorkshire puddings in the beginning of December and froze them all. We did the meats in the slow cooker. Claire prepped a lot of vegetables in advance. So it just was, on the day, we were really relaxed. It was really chilled. Nobody was running around hot and sweaty. And we just served it up kind of like buffet style. So everyone just took their plates along the line and got what they wanted. And it was just so much easier and so much more relaxed. So we'll be doing that again next year. But hopefully next year, Claire won't forget the red cabbage. She texted me just before Christmas saying, oh, I've made like an absolute mountain of red cabbage and I've frozen it and it's all great. And then on Christmas morning, she put it in the slow cooker and there it stayed until Christmas afternoon. So there's always got to be one thing you forget, right? Anyway, so I've got loads of things to share with you today. So grab a cuppa and a knitting project because you might be here for a while. I've got a few finished objects. I can finally share my Bird Street mystery Christmas colour that was in the Me to You boxes. Sorry, Me to Me boxes. I've got some whips, some new that you haven't seen for a bit, seen at all before. I've got 3 favourite things to share with you. I've got a Knitosophy section today. And I have got a bit of a roundup of 2025 and then some plans for 2026. And finally, I will be sharing the winner of the giveaway that I did in my last episode. So stay tuned for that. So let's start at the very beginning, as a wise woman once said. So I have got 2 finished objects, both are socks. This pair were a very languishing whip, which is very strange for me. I never do that, but it was only because I test knit the first one back in June, I want to say, June, July sort of time. And then I was under pressure to knit all the 12 pairs of socks that I was making for my goddaughter for Christmas. So, well, for her birthday actually at the end of October. So I put these to one side until I had a bit more time. So these are the Simon socks by my lovely friends Twin Set and Pearl. This is designed by Rachel, and lots of you will know the Simon pattern. I've knit 3 Simon shawls, I think, and a couple of Simon cowls. And Rachel brought out the socks, so I jumped on the test knit for that. The colours are Bird Street colours, and they are Cherie and Piglet is the pink. And pink and red is just my favourite colour combination. That's coming out really well there. This is just a beautiful pattern. as always, you wouldn't expect anything less from the girls. I did make, as you can see, a bit of a cock up on the pattern here. I'm not entirely sure how, but it's not the end of the world, and I made sure I didn't do it on the second sock. I did end up with holes in the short row heel, but that will be entirely my fault because it was quite new to me at the time. But very happy with those, and I am actually in need of some new socks in my collection because some of mine I haven't knit any for myself in ages, so lots of mine are getting a bit, you know, when they go like crispy from being washed too much. So yes, that will be really good. And then through most of December, I sort of didn't have much knitting time / not a lot of knitting mojo, so I cast on a pair of Christmas socks. I also found when I got my box of Christmas socks out, because I have loads of Christmas socks and I haven't really added to them much in the last few years. I found lots of them were too short for me because I've sort of discovered now I like a 7-inch leg. I like it to be long because I quite often wear like crop jeans and boots, and I don't like having a gap between my jeans and the socks. So yeah, I just prefer a longer sock. I think it's worth putting the effort in and making it longer because I'm definitely happier with it. Whereas when I knit some of my Christmas socks, I was just like, let's just get these done. So I want to replace a few pairs in there. So this colorway is, I think it's called Christmas Baubles by Madrigal Yarns. Claire got this for me at, I think it was a Staffordshire wool gathering. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'd not come across Madrigal Yarns before, but his colorways are amazing. And I hadn't knit self-striping in a really long time, so it was really fun. And it was nice because these stripes are like quite narrow, so it was a bit different. So I did, and I've got a question for you about this. I did, this is kind of my current favourite sock pattern, this kind of one I've kind of made up. So it's ribbed, which I know is a bit Marmite. I love a ribbed sock, so I think it's worth knitting it, and knitting ribbing doesn't bother me, but I know lots of people don't like it. But I just find it's really comfy. It hugs my legs really nicely. I've done a ribbed heel flap, so that also stretches really nicely, and I just find they fit really well and they look really good. I often like, obviously I didn't do it with this because it is stripy yarn, but I often like to put some like stripes at the top of the sock, a bit like a sports sock. So I'm wondering, do people think this is worth me writing up as a pattern? Because it wouldn't take me long to do, and I do find it a really useful pattern, especially like if you're somebody who sort of struggles with fit on a sock. Maybe if you've got, I don't know, maybe very slim legs and find it hard getting the fit around your legs. I don't really know. I've got very wide feet, and I think that's why I've got quite wide feet but quite narrow ankles, so I think that's why it works well for me. But let me know in the comments if you think a ribbed sock pattern would be useful with a ribbed heel flap and gusset, or if, you know, there's enough out there already. I don't have to do it. I just thought people might find it useful or might not. But yeah, let me know. So those will be going into my box of Christmas socks, which I just love getting out every year. It's so nice. Such a nice thing to have. So, sorry, I probably say this every time, but I'm on this creaky chair again. Nobody's ever mentioned it, so I'm sure it's okay. Right then, finally, I can unveil to you the Christmas colourway that I designed with Bird Street yarn for my, think of the words now, From Me to Me Christmas box. I've designed this box 2 years in a row now, which involves coming up with a theme, designing the yarn, dyeing the initial yarn with John, and then picking all the extras and things to go in the box. So this year I settled on the theme of Campfire Christmas because I found all these lovely pictures of, like, you know, little woodlands with a campfire and, you know, looking really cozy and twinkly lights and toasted marshmallows and stuff. So that's what I went with. So without further ado, this is Beks' Campfire Christmas. Oh, the bib men are coming. Great. Sorry about that, guys. So as you can see, it's got a lot of shades of green, some gold, some red, and I just think it looks so Christmassy. This was the mini that went with it. Claire actually cranked me these socks on her sock machine, so it's nice I can show you it knit up. And there is the mini, which I think is just the most glorious red. It's so beautiful. It's much more of a true red than Sherry, which is their other sort of dark red yarn. That's a bit more pinky. This one is a really like true red. It's gorgeous. I love it so much. So yeah, I was very happy with those. I was with a couple of friends who ordered the box when they opened theirs, so that was really special to see people's reaction to it. In the box was, I've got to remember now because it was a long time ago, there was a little sort of notions pouch with, I think was there a tape measure and scissors, darning needle, I can't remember all the things now, I'm so sorry. There was a little candle holder that was like a slice from a log, and a tea light sort of sits recessed in it, and the tea light was like a really smoky, fiery smell, which was amazing. There was some mini stroop waffles. There was a whittled pencil, which was really cool. And I'm completely struggling to think of the other things now, but it's beside the point because they're all gone now anyway. I don't know if John has plans to do this colour again. He may well do next Christmas. So yeah, watch that space. But anyway, I was very privileged to be asked to do it again, and really thrilled to see on Instagram people knitting it up and enjoying it. It was really lovely. So yeah, exciting times. Okay, next then, I've just put all of that on top of my notes. That was silly, wasn't it? So whips. So I don't quite know where to start. Let's start with socks. So as I said, I'm on a bit of a mission to top up my Christmas box of socks a little. So I have kept out my Christmas sock project bag. Claire got me this for my birthday, I think 3 years ago, maybe, I can't remember, from Paula, stitched by Mrs. D. And as you can see, it says Beki's Christmas socks. So I thought that's a good reason to keep it out and use it a bit more. It's got beautiful bunting on the back. So in here, I am knitting the Morning Beautiful socks by Rachel from Twin Set and Pearl. Sorry, Twin Set and Pearl drinking game today. And hang on, let me put one on the blocker because I'm on to my second one. I think I'm just about to do the heel on my second sock. And this yarn is totally gorgeous. It is Footprints Wool Addicts by Lang Yarns, and the composition is, where is it? 45% cotton, 42% virgin wool, and 13% nylon. So it's gorgeous. It's really soft, but it feels like it's going to be lighter to wear, a bit cooler. So you can just about see there's like a little stitch pattern down the front. That's better. And I'm just loving it. And actually, I wasn't thinking that this would be a Christmas sock, but actually, I think the colours are quite festive. So I think it might end up being another Christmas sock. So yeah, like I said, I always do a 7-inch leg. I've done a heel flap and gusset. I only looked at the pattern really for the stitch pattern down the front. The rest I just know my numbers that I like. So yeah, heel flap and gusset, a rounded toe, and yeah, loving it. The yarn is just so pretty. Claire actually got this for me from Oxford Yarn Store when she was doing a trunk show there. I placed an online order for collection and Claire bought it home for me, so that was really cool. And I would definitely recommend this yarn, and I would definitely get it again. It's really nice to knit with. Yeah, like I said, I am just down the leg on the first sock. So I'll be working on the heel next. This has kind of been my like car knitting and stuff. I haven't worked on it loads, but it just comes along really quickly. And I'm using some festive needle stoppers, which I got from Vinted. Actually, I found a really cute little vintage shop that had loads of knitting stuff. And these are to remind me of a special group of friends. You know who you are. And yeah, why not keep the festive stuff out for a bit longer, eh? I've actually got a few festive yarns wound up, ready to knit some more Christmas socks, and it'd be good because it use up some stash as well. So my next whip, I'll show you one that's been around for a while. Oh, let me put that back in the bag a second. I have actually made more progress than I realised on this project. I didn't really feel like I had. It's living in my mushroom bag from lovely Lizzie at This Lizzie Sews. Lovely mushroom charm on it. These bags are so great. I will talk a bit more in a minute because I do have a new one. So in here is my tulip sweater by Along a Beck Anna. I really want this. I'm so excited to wear it, but it is just, there's other things taking my attention at the moment, but I am getting there. I'm slightly dreading when I'm almost finished on the body, and the next bit will be to pick up this rib that goes all the way down here, all the way round the back, round here and up underneath there. But it will be worth it because it's a beautiful, beautiful pattern. So here it is. It's very difficult to show because of the construction. So it's done in layers, and that's inside out for some peculiar reason. Oh goodness, talk amongst yourselves. Here we go. So as you can see, I am getting there with the length. It's almost, I think I have done, let me have a look. I've got another 5 repeats to go, and then a few more decreases, and then the ribbon. So yeah, it's not loads. The rows are quite long because you're knitting the 2 layers, but the yarn is dreamy and the colour is dreamy, so it is a pleasure to knit on, and I think it will be so nice to wear. The yarn I'm using is Bird Street, as always. This is the Lulworth colourway in their alpaca silk cashmere base and their Surrey alpaca silk base, which I'm holding together, and they're just glorious. And I'm so chuffed that having this ring light means that when I show you stuff, it does come out true to colour. That is really what it looks like. And as you can see, holding the 2 together is just giving the most soft, beautiful tonal. Oh, it's lovely, and it's so soft. It is gorgeous. So I will get that done. It won't be too long. And as you'll see, some of the other projects I'm working on aren't that far off of being finished. So I will get back to that soon. We're going away at the end of January. I think this might be the thing I take with me and really concentrate on. But watch this space, because you know what I'm like. Something else could probably take my attention. Right then, so the next bit I don't believe you've seen at all. So it is kind of I think it will be like a more festive thing to wear, I think. I was kind of swept up in the whole sparkle of Christmas thing and wanted to knit something sparkly. But it's also, this is almost like a slight bit of research, shall we say, for something that I will talk about later. So, very cryptic. This is the Camille sweater by Johanna Gerish. Johanna Gerish. So it's wrong. Yeah, Johanna Gerish, sorry. And the picture's slightly weird on the pattern because the sample she's used has only got one arm done. Not really sure why. But basically it's a crossover, sort of a fake crossover sweat, like cardigan, but it is a sweater. It's like done in one piece, and it doesn't open. But you can. It's designed to wear it either this way round with the crossover on the back, or you can wear it the other way round with the crossover on the front, which is probably what I'm more likely to do. Yeah, look, it's really strange. You'd think she'd finish the sample before she put the pattern out, but anyway, who knows. So the yarn I chose for this, I was on a bit of a budget because you know, expensive time of year, but also I wasn't sure if like how well it was going to go and that sort of thing, so I couldn't spend loads on it. So I opted for, hang on, I left the tags in the bag, hang on, bear with, let's try and get up without knocking everything. Here we go. Oh, so I just used Drops brushed alpaca silk, which they sell as a, I want to say worsted maybe, but it is 140 meters to 25 grams, so it's, you know, it's basically like a Surrey alpaca that you'd buy from a yarn dyer, in this gorgeous color, which I think was called cobalt blue, but it's I'd call it slightly softer than cobalt blue. It's not that kind of electric. And yes, so the reason I picked the pattern was I've seen the Camille dress, which I'd really like to make, but obviously that's a big commitment. So when I saw the sweater, I thought, let's do that. It'd be a bit of a practice. The dress had sequins in it, and it's just stunning. I'm really hoping to make it. But when I started investigating sequin yarn, it's expensive. It's really expensive. It would have gone into the hundreds just for the sequin yarn before anything else. So I went searching, and I will admit to feeling slightly ashamed by this, but I bought this from Temu because it was what I could afford, and that's fine. Sometimes you've just got to, be led by your budget, right? So I'm really happy with it. It feels pretty good quality. I think it's like polyester rather than cotton, but I can live with that. And these were about £3 each. I got 3. I'm really hoping I'm going to get the whole thing out of it. But I just adored the colour. And yes, one day I will buy the expensive stuff, but needs must at the moment. So anyway, I'm waffling so much today. I've knit quite a bit on this. It was so addictive at the beginning. But I knew I wouldn't get it finished for Christmas, so I didn't rush. Oh, it looks so nice on camera. The sparkle's like kind of subtle because the colours blend in, but also super sparkly. Oh, looking at it now makes me really want to work on it again. So yeah, I've done the raglan increases, and I'm just knitting back and forth on it now. But obviously with this, plus the jumper that's also back and forth, it's a lot. I should knit each one of these alongside a lento or something really easy like that, but hey. Anyway, there's no rush for this because I probably won't wear it until like November, December, so I've got time to work on it. And providing this goes well, I'll then make plans to knit the dress, because I want to knit a dress. I keep seeing knitted dress patterns and they're just amazing. So yeah. Oh, and this actually looks chunkier than the one on the pattern. The one on the pattern is mohair, which I just can't wear anymore, and looks very kind of diaphanous. But I got gauge, so yeah, I'm really pleased with it, and hopefully, fingers crossed, keep everything crossed for me, that it will fit and it will be worth the effort. But yeah, watch this space on this one. You might not see this one again for a while, I can imagine. But do give me a poke nearer Christmas so that I don't get too close and not have it finished. Okay, here comes the pièce de résistance, the thing I've been waiting to show you. Well, 2 things I've been waiting to show you, in fact, because the number one is, look, the leopard print project bag of dreams. This was enormously kindly gifted to me by Lizzie for my birthday. It came, she apologized for it being late, which you can't apologize for a present because they're always gratefully accepted around here. It came in December, and it came, I think I'd been to work and had like a really long, busy, tiring, stressful day, and it was here waiting for me, and it just made my day so much. So yeah, Lizzie had, I was going to order one of these, but Lizzie had already sent it. And it's just gorgeous. She'd already sent me a matching Notions pouch. It's got this really sweet little, it looks like a knitted teddy bear. I'll get it in a bit closer. And Jasper loves that. He loves bears, so he keeps going to look at it. I will see if I can get Lizzie's details show nicely on there for you. Oops. So she is this Lizzie sews, with Lizzie with a Y, on Facebook and Instagram. And you can email her at thislizzysews@gmail.com. These bags are so well made, like, and all the attention to detail is so lovely, like the color of the handles and the zips, and there's always a little charm, and that always goes really nicely with it. And beautiful lining, and these wire frames, just, this is why I'm just loving it so much. And it's particularly perfect for the project I have inside. So this is my Advent project. So I didn't start it until the 1st of January. I wanted to open the colours and see them all together first. And actually that was really good, because before Advent, I had an idea of crocheting a cardigan with it. But in the end, I completely changed my mind, and I'm so happy I did, because I am just so in love with this project. So I had the Pastel Vibes Advent from Spectrum Fibre, which was a bit of a bucket list for me, because I love brownies colours, like pastels, rainbows, neons. It's just me. So I took the plunge and treated myself this year, and boy was I not disappointed. So I decided to make myself the Mandalay scarf, which is the new pattern from Amy Loudon. I'd seen a few people test knitting it on over Vlogmas. So I bought the pattern as soon as it came out. I'm loving every stitch. Well, you'll see how much I'm loving it, because you'll see how far I'm through it in 8 days. So I started off with yellow, went into greens, and then sort of bluey greens, blues, bluey lilacs, sort of pinky lilacs, and now I'm going into pink. Oh my goodness, how dreamy is this project? I'll show you the rest of the colours in here if I can. So it kind of goes into, I can't do it like that. It goes into like more pinky pinks rather than purpley pinks, and then into sort of my favourite corally sort of colours, and then it finishes on this like really pale coral with like speckles of yellow in it, so it is a circular fade. And this pattern is glorious. So what I'm doing is I started off by holding the first colour double. I weighed it until I'd used 10 grams of the 20. Then I dropped one strand and picked up one strand of the next. And I weighed it for the first couple of sections, but then eventually I knew how much I could do with each one. So now I've got that groove. I'm just flying along with it, because the colours change so quickly. And it's like, oh, I can't wait to add in the next strand. And then I can't wait to see what 2 strands of that colour looks like. And then I can't wait, So it's just flying. I think I'm on colour 15, I think. Let's have a look. Yeah, the next one's 16. So I'm over halfway through. And I'm ending up with kind of this sort of amount left. So I'll definitely be doing something fun. Oh, I tell a lie. That wasn't the last colour. This one was. Just a really pale, creamy one. So yeah, I am loving every stitch. And I showed Claire this the other day, and she was like, oh, I don't know if I could knit a scarf. It'd just be boring. But this is far from it, because you've got the interest of starting with short rows to make these scallops at the edge. Then the rows aren't long. I'm doing the midi size. There's a mini, midi, and maxi size. So I'm doing the midi. So the rows aren't long, so it's not boring, and you've got this constant interest of increasing and decreasing for the scallops, plus the fade in the colours. It's just, yeah, it's literally flying. I will have this finished in less than 2 weeks. I'm almost certain. And I'm so glad I invested in this advent, because it's just brought me so many hours of joy, and it's gonna look so pretty. I want this to take my weekend away in a few weeks, because it's just amazing. I just love it so much. And something I'll come on to in a bit, but I always, without fail, get a hankering for knitting with minis and scraps and loads of colour in January. I think it's because it's just so damn grey out there. So yeah, it's making me very, very happy, and I love how true to colour the camera's going. Very happy bunny. And today, well, this week, so it's been a bit of a funny old week. It's the first week back to school, and Paul is working away from Wednesday to Friday, which we're just not used to. I know loads of people do it all the time, but we're not used to. He never works away. It's very rare these days. So to sort of help with the juggle, I swapped my work days. So I worked on Monday, which ultimately means that today I have a whole day with no toddler trailing around after me. So that means I've managed to, what time is it? It's midday. I've already dropped him off, I went and had a coffee and made some lists of things I need to do. Then I went to the gym. Then I went and picked up my click and collect shopping order. Then I came home and I've made a batch of pasta sauce. I've put a ham in the slow cooker. I've made a batch of Yorkshire puddings for the freezer, and I've made an absolutely ginormous vat of soup. So I feel really productive, and I now have the whole afternoon to knit, so it's so exciting, and I can just like knit all evening as well. It's very nice. So yes, I'm loving it. Anyway, honestly, tangents. So I'll do acquisitions next, I think. I've only got a few, really. I just realised I've left one up there, but I think I can reach it. Oh, there we go. So, first one then. I think, is it sometime over Christmas, I think? We were in the park and I got a notification that Fab Funky Fibres had a sale on. Now, they don't pop up often, but their yarn is the best self-striping yarn, and they are the nicest people. So I always jump on it when I see they have yarn. Their labels are so cool. I don't know how well this will show, but it's like black and white, like vintage images on like vellum paper. So it's like crinkly and lovely. So I got gingerbread treats in a 50-gram skein. Look at that, it's so cute. I'm thinking of doing, I've got a mini in this kind of like minty green colour, and I'm thinking of doing some kind of colour blocking so that I change colour sort of halfway down the foot, something like that. But it's only a vague idea at the moment, but I think they'll be my next Christmas socks on the needles. I think that was about $13.50 in their sale, which is really good for 50 grams of self-striping socks. There's so much work. Okay, next are a couple of skeins that Claire gave me. I think she'd seen a pattern that she really liked, and asked John to dye some yarn up for her, and he said no, so she went out there herself and did it. So it's this lovely sort of, it's like reminds me of sort of Christmas sprinkles almost, just really festive colours, very soft and gorgeous. So, and that's on their extra fine merino basis, like proper squidgy. Is 85.15, so it feels like DK, but it's not. It's so plump. It's lovely. So that will probably become some Christmas socks at some point. Also, Claire very kindly, she well, I say very kindly. At first, she teased me because she messaged me and said, "We've got one of the I can't remember what it was. What was it in there? It was like a Norwegian Christmas inspired box that they did." And she said, "We got one left. If it doesn't sell, you can have it." And for like a good few days, it didn't sell, and then it did. But on Christmas Day, she surprised me with the yarn that was in it. So that was lovely. And this is called Hay. And it's beautiful. It's so gorgeous, really soft, really pretty. And then she gave me these, which I'm assuming are probably the like, what do they call them? Oh my God, my brain. Like deconstructed colours. So I think that will also be some Christmas socks. Look at the speckles on there, so cute. So that was lovely. Then got a few little bits in here. So she also gave me this stitch marker, which I'm assuming probably was in that box as well, which is a little, hang on, very hard to show. There we go. It's about as good as I'll get. A sparkly Chinese money plant, which I think she has these made by Yarnistry, I think. Love it. And then I did the most amazing advent swap with my friends Jack and Jess from the Big Sis Little Bro Making Show. And so I had lots of glorious goodies from them. It was so nice opening it every day, but I just thought I'd show you these, which were from Jack. There was a little is it raspberry or strawberry cupcake, and these really cute catty charms, which I'm very kitten broody at the moment, so they were perfect. Look at that little black cat hiding in a teacup, and that one looks like my Mufasa because he had green eyes. Little cat in a rowing boat in a light bulb. What's not to love? And this one, they're just so cute and pretty. And a little fish swimming around. Whoops, a fish swimming around in a light bulb. I can't be helpful and tell you where they came from, but they're very lovely, and I just wanted to share them. And then finally, from my mother and father-in-law, I had on my Christmas list some Yarnsmith's yarn that I'd seen and fancied using. So they very kindly got me a sweater quantity of that. So I got, I can't remember, I think it's 10 of these, which is the Yarnsmith's Merino DK in the shade 3410, which I can't remember. It's something like candy pink, I can't remember now. But really pretty, really soft. And then 3 balls of the Rico Creative Make It Tweed in, I can't remember what this one was called either. It's the colour 003. And it's gorgeous. And I think it together, they'll make like a really pretty kind of warm sort of raspberry ripple looking effect. I think I'm going to make something really simple like that, like a lento with that, I think. Because I think that would just be a really nice wearable sweater. And I think that would be cast on as my next garment, I think. Yeah, so that's all the acquisitions. So let's move on to my 3 favourite things to start off with. So it was hard to pick 3 favourite things, and I did, and then they were a bit Christmas related, so I've changed them slightly today. So my first thing is you guys, your lovely comments. On my last video, I was giving some yarn out. So there was a lot of comments for people entering the giveaway, but you all left such lovely comments. I really enjoyed them. Lots of your thoughts on different things, and you know, whether you were new viewers or whether you've been around for a while, or you know, lots of different things. And I just really enjoyed that contact with you guys. So please leave me comments. I do love them. And you know, I never take for granted that you guys take your time to spend with me. I know how much I appreciate other podcasters and how much I enjoy watching their videos, so I'm really glad I can maybe bring you a bit of company and a bit of joy. So thank you for being here. My next favourite thing is the new season of Traitors. So season 4 began in the UK on New Year's Day. And the best bit about it is they've brought it forward to 8 p.m. because it always used to be 9 till 10, and that is past our bedtime. When you have a toddler that can wake up any time from about 5 a.m. to about 7 a.m., you don't want to be staying up late. So yeah, really happy it's on at 8 p.m. Me and Paul have been able to like keep up with it, because last year we would have to like watch it the next day, like be a day behind everyone else, and everyone wants to talk about it and you don't want to get spoilers, and it's just a nightmare. But this series has been cracking. I know I've talked before about the fact that we are major Traitors fans, but we only discovered it a year ago. So in the last year we've watched 3 UK series plus the celebrity one, 2 Australian ones, 1 New Zealand one. I think that's it. But yeah, it's quite a lot in a year. So yeah, totally enjoying it. And I have to admit, Paul's away this week, and I did offer to wait and watch it with him when he got back on Friday, but he said he was less likely to look at social media and get spoilers than me, so he let me watch it. But it was so hard talking to him on the phone last night and not telling him anything that happened, because there was loads of bombshells last night. It was really exciting. So yeah, that was a challenge, but he'll soon be back and caught up, so it'll be okay. And my third favourite thing at the moment is making plans. So we've got loads going on this January in our house. We are having our living room decorated. It is very long awaited and much needed. We bought a new sofa, gosh, coming up for 2 years ago now. And it's a lovely, like, it's kind of a tealy, petrol-y blue sort of colour. And you know, it's really vibrant, and the rest of the room is a bit grey and dull. And the carpet has, well, it's seen much better days, as have the walls. There's lots of like holes where we've moved pictures and moved bookcases to accommodate toys and things like that. And yeah, everything's just looking a bit grubby. We've got, you know, a 2-year-old who likes flinging doors open with abandon, so there's like dents in all the walls, and so we're making it really nice. We're replacing everything, new light switches, new light fitting, so it's all going to look really nice. I've got beautiful curtains, and the best bit about it is that one of my friends from work does a bit of painting and decorating on the side, so she's doing it for us and I don't have to. The only problem is she's doing it over a weekend while we're away, so that means, as well as like packing and prepping for a weekend away, which, you know, doesn't sound a lot, but you know, when you're going somewhere in the UK and you have to pack loads of clothes because you don't know what the weather's going to be like, and you've got a toddler and you've got to take a travel cart and all the toys and all the detritus, and it's self-catering, so we have to plan all the food. It's going to be a lot, so we have to literally, whilst packing for a holiday, strip wallpaper, fill holes, get furniture out of the room, remove the carpet, remove our fish tank, which holds 240 litres of water and a fair few fish. So yeah, it's quite an undertaking, but it will be worth it. I'm actually doing the wallpapering because I really love wallpapering. So my friend's come in and she's painting all the woodwork, including the doors and the coving. And I just then have to come back and wallpaper, which is going to be gorgeous. And then we're having lovely soft new spongy carpet. So yeah, so making plans has been very fun. I've got a little notebook that's just going everywhere with me at the moment, and in there is just going like all my brain dump, like lists of everything, what prep we have to do, what I need to buy. Took my parents to B&Q yesterday afternoon so my dad could like help me choose all the things I needed, so I didn't buy like the wrong light fitting or the wrong light switches or whatever. So yeah, plans are all coming together. I've got a nice little mountain of stuff building in the garage ready to go, and yeah, I'm just excited to get it done now. So yeah, starting with a lovely fresh new room in the house is going to be really exciting. So next thing is knitosophy, and if you have watched the big this little borough making show, or the Country Bumpkin podcast, my lovely friend Lucy, you will have seen that we are kind of tentatively starting kind of a bit of a reciprocal question knitosophy section. So I've always enjoyed listening to Jack and Jess's, so we thought we might sort of pose some questions to each other, and you might have seen that Jack and Jess have already answered, and no, actually, no, Lucy hasn't. Jack and Jess have answered the question that I've already posed, which is, what is your knitting unpopular opinion? So they had some really interesting ones. I think I've got a couple. So I think they're going to be very unpopular, if I'm honest. Number one is the Sophie scarf. I don't get it. It doesn't keep me warm. It's tiny. I just don't get it. I know it's like a nice little easy thing, but yeah, I don't understand. Scarves for me keep you warm, and it's not going to. So yeah, that's one. And I know that's going to be very unpopular because everyone's knit a million of them. And my other one is going to be even more unpopular, I think, because I don't really like colour work that much. So to me, a colour work sweater is a bit Christmassy. And generally, garments I like to knit are ones that I would want to buy if I saw them in the shops. And if I saw a colour work jumper in the shops, unless it was like a Christmas jumper, I don't think I'd buy it. I famously don't knit colour work. I have knit colour work socks, which I did enjoy, admittedly, but the whole, like, the way it messes with your gauge, gauge is hard enough for me just knitting in one colour. So to then have to think of that is so yeah, there's some colour work I do like the look of. I like it if it's a bit more funky and modern, but in general, colour work sweaters like don't really do it for me, I'm afraid. But that's okay. It's okay. We can all have our opinions. So watch this space next time for the next knitosophy section. So now a bit of a 2025 wrap up. So as I said last time in my last knitosophy section, I always keep a running tally of what I've knit through the year. So I had a look and counted up. So I knit last year in 2025 13 pairs of socks, which, believe me, is not many for me. There was a year where I knit 55. One child's garment, which I believe was a jumper for Jasper, but I can't really remember. I knit 14 adult garments, which is a lot for me. I've never done that many, and it was definitely my year of the garment. I knit 3 hats, 4 shawls, which is funny because I feel like I don't really remember knitting any shawls, but I think that was definitely back at the beginning of the year. I think I finished some that I carried over from the year before. Plus I made a really big wrap. So I think that is why I don't feel like I really remember it. I think, given my Advent project and something else I've got my eye on, I think my shawl season is like this time of year. I knit 2 cowls, one of which is a finished object, which I should have shown you, and also a new design. Where have I put it? I probably wore it somewhere. Well, it's not a new design. You've seen it before. It's a Liberty lace cowl, but I'd finished it and I didn't bring it to show you. What an idiot. Never mind, I'll show you next time. I also knit 3 dishcloths and 3 bags. So yeah, not a bad year. Let me tot that up quickly. That's 28, 31, 35, 37, 40, 43 objects. Not bad going. So that brings me nicely onto plans for this year. I haven't got rigid plans because I know that things will come and go and take my attention. But I was chatting with a couple of friends, and they were talking about maybe doing like a bingo board. And I know Fran always does one, doesn't she, from Franny Do Makes. So I thought I would do one. Now I asked our friend, I've got to say it like Boris Johnson says it, AI, Chat GPT, to make me a bingo board, a blank bingo board. It was my first kind of foray into the world of AI. It was quite fun. But my printer has very unhelpfully broken, so I haven't been able to print it out yet. So you're gonna have to make do with my rough drawing in my notebook, which some little artist in my house has added a bit of detail to, shall we say. So yes, you will, when I read these out, you will see that I have made it quite open, slightly vague, so that I'm not saying specific patterns. I've also done 16 squares, but have only thought of 12 things, but leaving some blank squares to add to, because I know there'll be things that come up. So my first one is to use at least 3 sweater quantities that I have in my stash, namely this one, and I've got another one to do a sibling sweater by Laura Penrose, and a few others that I've had for a while. So that's my first one. The next one is to use my 2025 advent, which will be ticked off really quickly. Release at least 2 new patterns, which one is ready to go. I just need to put the photos into the pattern and release it. So I need to pull my finger out. It's just been too much going on. As you've already heard me say, knit some new Christmas socks. So that will be underway, but I've not said a specific number, not tying myself to anything. If, when I finish this pair of socks, I could tick that off if I so wished, but I won't, because I will do more than that. Complete more workbook tasks. So I showed you last time I had that Patty Lyons, I can't remember what it's called, but the knitting workbook. I want to complete some more of the tasks from there, because I find the ones I've done so far really useful. As I've already mentioned, I want to knit a sequin dress. My next one is to plan my Big Flock workshop. So you may have seen that tickets have gone on sale for the second Big Flock in May, which is unbelievably exciting. It was so amazing last year, and it's going to be even better this year. And I am going to be doing a workshop, which is very exciting. Claire kind of talked me into it. And basically, we thought it would be really good if there was a bit of just a short, simple workshop on the basics of Ravelry, because they get a surprising number of customers come to them at shows that don't know how to use it. So I'm going to be talking through in that workshop how to use both the desktop site and the mobile site of Ravelry, how to get your best out of searches. So, talking about all the different filter options, how to use the front page of Ravelry, where you can see new patterns and popular patterns and that sort of thing, and how to just purchase and download a pattern and find that in your library, etc. So it's going to be, I think it's £15. I think it's going to be kind of 30 to 40 minutes with time for questions and chats afterwards, and people will go away with kind of a cheat sheet, if you like a worksheet that you can have next to you when you're on it, and it literally holds your hand step by step. So planning my Big Flock workshop that's my job for February. Once the living room's sorted, that's the next job, and I've already got some willing guinea pigs to let me test it out on. I've also finished my 2025 whips. That's mainly aimed at that Camille sweater that I want to make sure doesn't languish and not get finished next Christmas. I want to knit another camisole number 9. So you might remember that last year I knit Claire and John camisole number 9 by My Favourite Things Knitwear for a shop sample, and I didn't want to knit one straight away afterwards because it was fiddly, but I do really want one, and I have yarn for one, so that might be a job for the spring, because that would be really handy to have in the summer. The next one is to make the what's it called? The Jaunty Shawl by Andrea Mowry. I want to do that as like a scrappy project. I think that will probably take the place of my Advent wrap when I finish that. because I've got loads of scraps, and as I said, this time of year I just get a craving to use loads of scraps and colour and stuff. I've got knit a lento on here, so as I said, I'd really like to knit a lento with this, and that kind of kills a couple of birds with one stone. And then finally, I really want to knit something. So my niece has started just embroidering as a hobby, and she's been buying clothes from Vinted and charity shops and things like that, and like embellishing them with embroidery, and they're gorgeous. She did this really sweet little cat poking out the pocket of a pair of jeans, and for my other niece, her sister, she's done this most gorgeous like floral embroidery on a denim jacket, and she's done loads of things, and they're really pretty. So as soon as I saw it, I said, "Oh, Han, we need to collaborate on this. I need to knit something that you can then embroider." So I think what we'll probably do is use Claire and John's yarn. I'll knit it, and then I'll knit it to fit my great niece, who's her niece, and then she'll embroider something on it. So I think that would be really exciting. So I've got knit something for Hannah to stitch on there as well. But like I said, I've got 4 empty boxes. So, I might review it kind of at some point through the year, or if I've got something that comes up that's like really pressing, I will add that to it. But also no pressure if I don't. It's just nice to kind of, I think more than anything, this isn't like goals I want to achieve. It's just getting all these ideas that are floating around in my brain down on paper. Because lots of these are things I've wanted to do for ages. So yeah, it's exciting. So yeah, that's the plan for that. And I will eventually, hopefully, get my proper bingo card printed out and get it written up nicely, and I can stick it somewhere. Or I also want to get better this year at recording my knits, because I do re-knit patterns, and it's handy to know what my gauge is, and what my gauge is with certain yarns and things like that. So I am going to get better. I think I'm going to start a new notebook. That helps, doesn't it? Sometimes when you go back to an old notebook, it feels a bit like like, for example, my current notebook that I've been using is like a project record. Is one that I used like during the pandemic, when I had loads of time. I didn't have a child, and I made it all pretty, and it was beside me all the time, and I was forever filling it in. And now it feels, going down the scribbling notes that I have 3 seconds to write, feels a bit like I'm spoiling a precious thing or something. So I think what I need to do is give myself license to kind of do it a bit scrappy, and yeah, then it won't feel like so much pressure, and I can just get it done. So yeah, that's a lot of waffle about all sorts of things. Thank you for sticking with me. So the final job I have to do now is send out some yarny goodness to somebody. So last time I had 2 skeins of yarn. I don't have them now, unfortunately, because I've given them back to Claire, because she will send them out. So I had a skein of Little Scamp and a skein of Dude from Bird Street Yarn. They're, as I explained before, they're both based on my favourite fashion brand, Scamp and Dude. And it was nice. Lots of you commented that you enjoyed hearing the story of such a great company, which was really nice. And the lovely news was, over the festive period, the founder of the company actually got given an OBE by the King, which is really exciting for her services to fashion and charity. So really nice that she's had all that charitable giving recognised, because I do think that makes it a really special brand. Anyway, without further ado, my winner, I picked at random, was Caroline Ria 7165. So Caroline, if you can give Claire and John an email at home@birdstreetyarn.com, they will organise to send the yarn out to you. If you just say Bex picked me as her winner, I will let Claire know anyway to expect your email, and they will send that out to you. enjoy. I hope you love it. The colours are stunning, and let me know what you make with it. I need to knit something with the little scamp. I've made something with Dude, but not little scamp yet, so I need to get onto it. Anyway, just ticked over 1 hour exactly. Oh, and apparently I'm about to have a coughing fit. And I'm starving because it is now 25 to 1, and I normally have my lunch at about 11:30. So I hope you have a lovely January. I don't expect I'll be back in January with everything that's going on. So hopefully I will see you in February for another update, and take care in the meantime, and I'll see you soon. Bye.